Hello, today we're going to go over solving inequalities with one variable. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about inequalities. So looking at this introduction, I'd like you to do two things. First of all, for the first one, take this number line and shade all of the numbers that are less than 3. And then for the next one, shade all of the numbers that are greater than or equal to 0. So for all of the numbers less than 3, numbers like -10, -5, numbers like 0.5, 1.5, 2.5 work, but 3 does not work. So at 3, we would have an open circle. The open circle means, again, that this does not work. It's not a solution. But everything then to the left of there should be shaded. So for the next one, all numbers that are greater than or equal to 0 would be anything that is a positive number. But for this one works because it says or equal to. So this filled in circle here means it is a solution. So when you have things that look like this, it's not just one number that works, but it's a whole set of numbers that work because there are many numbers either less than 3 or greater than or equal to 0. So now what we're going to do is we're going to write inequalities to represent what you see graphed up above. So anything less than 3 would be some number x, and we want that to be smaller than 3. So that symbol right here looks like less than. That's what that is. Then the next one here, the way we would show this one is anything greater than or equal to 0. So the line there means or equal to. So we're going to start solving inequalities, and we're going to get answers that are basically half of the number line. And our answers are going to look like the graphs up above, and our answers are going to look like these things that we just wrote here. So let's see what that looks like. So for problem number 1, we want to solve for x and then graph our answer. So we're going to treat it just like it says equals, and we're going to add 6 to both sides. We get 3/4 x is less than or equal to 18. Now we're going to get rid of this fraction by multiplying by the reciprocal. When we do that, we get x is less than or equal to. Then we multiply 18 times 4. And when we do that and then divide our answer by 3, we should end up with 24. So our solution here is x is less than or equal to 24. So on our number line, we're going to write 24. And we want, because it says or equal to, a filled in circle on our number line. And we want everything less than that, so all of the numbers on the left-hand side. So our solution is everything from 24, including 24, and to the left. So now we're going to solve another one using the same idea here. So we're going to get d by itself, just like a normal equation. We would add 12 to both sides. We would get 20 is less than or equal to 2d. I would be very careful, even though we're solving this like an equation. Make sure you keep your sign the same direction the whole way down. Don't write equals. So we divide by 2 and get 10 is less than or equal to d. Now when you have the variable on the right-hand side, you have to be careful because this is saying 10 is less than d. So d is the bigger value. What we want to do is we want to write the variable on the left-hand side. So d is actually bigger than or equal to 10. If you want to put the d on the left-hand side, you have to switch your symbol. Notice in both of these, d is the bigger value and 10 is the smaller value. And the reason why people sometimes switch it to the other side is because when you go to graph it, here's 10. We're going to put a nice filled-in circle at 10. And we want all of the values that are bigger than that, so everything to the right. Some people learned the direction that the inequality goes, you shade that direction, but that only works if your variable's on the left. So just be careful with that. We want everything then to the right of 10. So take a look at this next example, 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add 4 to both sides. We get -1/2 z is greater than 10. Now to get rid of this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply both sides by a -2. And at this point, I want you to put a big star here. And write, when you multiply or divide both sides of the equation by a negative, you switch your sign. When you multiply or divide both sides by a negative, you must switch your sign. Switch your sign. So over here, we would get z and -20, except this sign was greater than. It is going to become a less than instead. This part right here has to switch. And it's all because we multiplied both sides by -2. So when you multiply both sides by a negative, you switch your sign. So now if we were to graph this, we would have -20 on our number line. We would have our first open circle because it's not equal to, so -20 does not work. And we would want everything to the left of that, all of the numbers less than it. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 4. We're going to go ahead and distribute the 4 out in front to get 4x plus 28 minus 16 is less than -2x plus 12. We combine like terms to get 4x plus 12 is less than -2x plus 12. We can move the 2x over and the 12 over. So we get 6x on the left, and we end up getting 0 on the right-hand side. Now, this doesn't mean no solution or infinite solutions because we still have an x. If you still have a variable in the problem, you still have an answer. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 6, and we get x is less than 0. So on our number line, we're going to have 0. We're going to have an open circle, and you're going to shade everything less than that, which is everything to the left of that. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to try numbers 5 and 6 by pausing the video and you working through those. And then when you have tried them, unpause the video and come back and see how they went. Okay, so pause and try them. So now that you've tried these, let's go ahead and take a look at what we should have. We have -12w plus 4 plus 6w is greater than or equal to 16. So we both combine like terms and move that 4 on over. And right here, we're going to divide both sides by -6. And this is when, again, you're dividing both sides by a negative. So our sign has to switch from greater than to less than. So we should get w is less than or equal to -2. Which means on your number line, you should have -2. You should have a filled in circle because it says or equal to. And you want everything smaller than that or to the left of that. And then lastly, for number 6, once again, make sure you try this one on your own. You're going to multiply both sides by -4. So you get 7r minus 3, and you get -24. But right off the bat right here, you multiplied by a negative to both sides. So the less than is going to become a greater than. Then we're going to add 3 to both sides to get 7r is greater than -21. And we're going to divide both sides by 7 to get r is greater than -3. So at -3, you have an open circle, and you want everything to the right of that. So with inequalities, you're going to follow all of the same rules as equations, with one exception up here. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you must switch your sign, so less than becomes greater than and vice versa. And if it has or equal to, it just stays or equal to. And then the other thing is if you have less than or greater than on a graph, these are open circles. Less than or equal to and greater than or equal to are closed circles. and then you shade whichever half you're supposed to. Normally, if you have the variable on the left, less than means you shade to the left, and greater than means you shade to the right. So overall, I hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.